And we live and we are on my channel. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, WatchYoMouthReviews. This is your boy James, where today I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It is not gonna happen this recap, but that's okay. I'm going to live and fight another day. I promise you I will. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Besh. I'll say what's up to her.
Hello, I hope you guys liked the video, shared the video, subscribe to the channel. YouTube is making changes, so that's all we ask of you guys.
Yes, YouTube is making a lot of changes and making it hard for people who want to make a little extra money on the side. They're going to make it hard for us, y'all. But that's all right. I got a full-time job, but that's okay. But I still would love to make a little extra. So let's see who in the comments. My unofficial moderator, American Born, is here. Thank you for doing the Lord's work. We appreciate you. My good girlfriend Shana is up here. We had a good time earlier on the nice little text message thread we had. So thank you, Shana, for making me laugh at work where I had to get up and close my door. Thank you so much. Oh my Lord, we got all this. It's hard out here for a pit when you're trying to make the money for the rent. I'm trying to tell you. Hi, Lexi Lee. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. So, y'all, we got to get into this foolishness. So, we opened up Real Housewives of Atlanta Reunion Part 2 with none other than Cynthia Cheekbone Baby. She making her way with her little cat suit with this big old dramatic cape that took up the entire room. I was not mad at it. She looks absolutely gorgeous. Cynthia's losing some weight. I definitely see it in her face. She looks good. She really, really does. She looks very, very good. Cynthia sits on the couch and she goes, okay, what I miss? And Eddie is giving her the rundown. Apparently, K. Michelle is a gay man. Pinky is pregnant. Drew is finally divorced. Giving her the whole rundown. And Cynthia's like, well, hey, okay, I'm glad I made it. But see, we got to get into this question that Drew asked, right? So Drew asked, Shamia, what was your intentions on telling K. Michelle that the girls in the groups didn't want her to be friends with her? And Andy, I saw how you asked that question because that is not the way Drew asked that question. So I want to reiterate. Drew is talking about the Atlanta clique, the girl clique, which is the matriarch of Candy, Rashida, Tiny, and Toya Wright. And I know her name is Toya something else, y'all. I get it. I'm not trying to disrespect the lady. I get her name is Toya something else. But for what I remember her to be in my mind, because this is what she's been, her name is Toya Wright. That's it. So let's not do this because a lot of y'all like to correct me, and I don't care about that lady's last name. It changes every other so often of years. So Toya Wright is what I last known her as, and that's what she's gonna be today. So we have this argument with K. Michelle and Shamia. And she pretty much told K. Michelle pretty much told Shamia it was the girl clique. And they say not to be friends, and you over here running with that. You brought it up every time that we would meet up. You would say, I hope you will be loyal to me. I hope you would do this. And I have not done anything for you to question any type of loyalty to you. So I don't understand why you would continue to bring that up. And Portia is clicking and like, okay, so that makes sense. And Angela said yes, and which is why we feel like Shamia was the person who put the information in her ear, because you continuously tell her that your other friends do not want you to be friends with K. Michelle, but you're going to do it because she's here. And Portia had the moment with K. Michelle. She goes, so I understand now why you feel the way that you do, because you're coming into this, already having trust issues with women, already having, the reputation of, from your perspective of being, bullied by Atlanta women. So coming to this girl group, I understand why you were guarded, and I felt like you couldn't really be your true authentic self. And Shami's like, no, 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 it wasn't about that. It was just my other friends. Like, it just wasn't about that. And K Michelle said, Shamia, there was other issues that we had as well. And Shami's like, well, talk about them. And K Michelle, well, you talk about them. You're the one that told everybody. And I'm just like, oh Lord, where are we going with this? So they brought up, a night that they were fighting, and they said that Shamia watched the episode, didn't like what K Michelle said about her mama, and decided to confront her about it. So she confronted Shamia about it and said, or Shamia confronted K Michelle and said, yeah, I didn't appreciate you talking about my mama having her titties up to her chin. This is the outfit my mama had on. So she shows her a picture of what the outfit was. And K Michelle says she was only a half a cup of drink of her Jack Daniels. She wasn't really trying to go there with Shamia. And she goes, well, I just want to let you know that you lied, K Michelle. You lied about my mama, talking about we showed up at the club at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was not 2 o'clock. I have the proof. It was at 11 o'clock. And I'm just like, Shamia, whatever. Your mama was still in the club. None of that matters. And K Michelle said, listen, Shamia, I did not lie. Your mama was in the club over there in her little white suit or whatever she wanted to have on, over there talking about praise the Lord, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Meanwhile, Portia is a Jezebel. But she didn't say it like that, but y'all, she said, and over there calling her Jezebel, pointing at Portia. Portia said, who's she calling a Jezebel? Wait, who's she calling a Jezebel? And Kim Michelle said, her mama called you a Jezebel. You ain't your mama. And that's where Portia should be went at it for the first time of the night. Oh, you keep my name out your mouth. And she said, no, keep my name out your motherfucking mouth. And it was just, I was like, I'm literally watching the Bobbsey twins go back and forth. No one's getting a word in. No one's trying to have resolve. It's just crazy. So before I go move on to the C, Mrs. Best, do you think Shamia Baba called Portia a Jezebel?
Yeah, half of the world called Portia a Jezebel. Home wrecker, husband stealer, hoe, the bop of Atlanta, she who's fucked all the Nigerians on the East Coast of America. Like, Portia has been slut shamed every which direction across television, on social media. I'm not saying it's right, but I mean, at the same time, it's not right the way that she moved. She'd be less of a Jezebel if she wasn't chasing checks. I'm just saying. So, I mean, and now Portia has her own money and success, but we have to remember that house does still belong to Simon. It belongs to him until she buys him out, and she is yet to do that. So there's that. It's and honestly, Shamia's mama calling her a Jezebel, I'd believe her over any of what anybody else says online. That just confirms what we know to be true. But what I find weird is K Michelle commenting on that. I don't know how many people caught that, but I felt like it was shady that K was involved in any talk that had to do with anybody's mom. Like, but I guess everyone's so focused on Portia and Shamia, which I get. But Kay, why are you involved? And why did Andy have to tell you not to talk about people's mamas?
I'm also gonna dig that same knife a little deeper. I kind of feel like, why would you wait until Mad Day to bring that situation up? Like, why didn't you tell Portia during the season that Shamia Mama called her that? Like, why would you wait to the reunion to bring that up?
Kay is shady and messy, and she's not telling a story, and then she brings shit up and she refuses to argue or talk about it, which is annoying. And I'm kind of looking like, Kay, you did not do this when you were on Love and Hip Hop. You would get in somebody's face or argue. So I do think Shamia didn't look the best in this reunion, and I do think she had conversations with Kay. But I don't really fault her for that, considering the beef that she had and how the last reunion left. I don't really fault her for that. Shamia, what they're accusing her of, trying to get Kay on her side, is just what Portia did, making up with Drew when you had a big problem with her. Now you suddenly good with her because you need more allies on your side. Everybody's doing the same thing.
Yep.
The only thing is, it seems like the audience as well as the cast is more upset at Shamia, which is weird because Kay is also involved in it. In fact, Kay is more involved than Kelly in their drama. Kelly
Yeah.
has her issues with Portia and them, but she's not bringing up her and Shamia's friendship and the issues she has. She's not bringing up nobody's mama. She just cussing around and saying, I heard you sleep with Nigerians. I'd rather Kay move the way that Kelly did, and I never thought I'd say that, instead of just involving yourself and then playing innocent. At the end of the day, they both had conversations about this cast while not filming, but only one person's being held accountable.
I agree. And one thing I am going to say before I move on to the rest of that argument is that as much as Shamia's disappointed me, I do feel like K Michelle is exaggerating the story. I do. I feel like there was an exaggeration. I don't know K Michelle to lie, but I do feel like, to me, something just does not make sense about the story. So to dig a little bit more into the story, because I'm going to have to kind of prove my point. So Shamia accuses K Michelle trying to fight her that same night that they had got into it, when Shamia had confronted her about talking about her mom on camera. And she mentions that, she shows the gestures of what K Michelle did. K Michelle said, no, I didn't do that. All I did was slam my hand on the table and say, you going to stop all that lying. That's what I said. And Shameen said, that's not what you did. You got up and you chest me and got up, and she shows the example and does it on Kelly. And Kelly was like, well, no, I get into it. Don't chest up on me. So Shamia exposes that Kelly was also there at that dinner and can attest to some of the things that were said. So Kelly says that she doesn't want to be in the middle of them two because she loves them both. She says that she tells K Michelle that she wished she would assess her opinion differently instead of listening to the other side of the couch. And the other side of the couch wasn't having it. They said, no, you're not going to just place this on us. You're not going to place this on us, which I do agree with. I don't think in that moment that they stayed quiet. They didn't say anything until Portia was called a Jezebel. They didn't really say much. So I think that was unfair for Kelly to do that. But when Kelly did that, it stirred up everyone to come at her, Angela included. Angela was activated the moment Kelly started speaking up, and Kelly's like, I'm not talking to you. Ain't nobody talking to you. And Angela's like, what's wrong, Kelly, baby? What's wrong? You're homeless? You about to you frying chicken up in Shamia's house? Is that what you be doing? You finna lose that restaurant. And Kelly's like, is that all you have? Is I about to lose my shit? Like, what about you? She goes, oh yeah, I worried about me, but we're talking about you right now. She said, I'm not trying to listen to that side of the couch because ain't nobody on that side of the couch got a brick and mortar anyway. So I don't even want to hear it. And I'm looking at Kelly like, Kelly, you just be saying anything about your mouth to make it land. That didn't make any sense. I'm sure everybody on that couch has a brick and mortar. I'm sure they do, because they wouldn't be able to operate their businesses without it and collect on taxes. So let's not do that, Kelly. That was stupid for you to even say it. I was like, Phaedra, I know you lying. I know you ain't talking about me. So everyone comes after Kelly, defending, their rightful soul businesses and everything. So I was 100% there with it because she deserved that. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Kelly? How the conversation easily went off Shamia and K Michelle, and then Kelly got attacked in the crossfire. How did you feel about that?
Kelly talks so fucking much. I don't mind when she get attacked. Kelly talks so much. I think I'm putting Kelly's voice up there on my list of annoying voices. She right under Tisha from Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Ooh.
Her voice just carries. It drives me crazy. It drives me absolutely insane. But a lot of what Kelly said didn't make sense. You are correct. Because Portia, for instance, you could say a lot of things about her, but I think she's done well at developing businesses for herself. She can fall back and survive on her, what is it, Pampered by Portia, them sheets, and she's got the Go Naked, the sheets. She has a lot of businesses. Now, Drew, that might have been for Drew.
That might have been for
Because
Drew.
really everybody on that couch got their businesses together with the exception of Drew. She just be acting. So that might have been for Drew.
Drew, that was your stray.
that was a stray for Drew. That's good. That's the comment.
Lord have mercy, that's hilarious. Let me read some of these comments before I move on to the next thing. Straight off the runway. What else is going on? Hi, Naya. Thank you for joining this live. I appreciate you. I believe Mama Morton called her that. I do too. It doesn't seem far-fetched. So, yeah. Shamia is not much different from P, who does the Mama C. That no, that Mama C is the angel, devoted, sophisticated wife that she raised her to be. She don't see the whole tactics and the loosey goosey, twerk it every 5 seconds, shot o'clock Shamia. She don't see that. No mama sees that about their child. Come on now, Lexi Lee. You know how this stuff work. All the mamas see the best in their children. They could be something else. They can lift their leg up and touch the temple of their head. And their mama said, "That's my baby. She beautiful. She can't do none of that." Come on. Hey, Arthur, I appreciate you being here. Kelly became Mighty Mouse in the Harley. I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing
Mighty
this with
Mouse
y'all.
is the best reference for Kelly, not Papa Smurf.
Said bankruptcy is her superpower. We're gonna get into that because she pissed me off.
She pissed a lot of people off, and
Yeah.
it sent, what do they call it, misinformation?
I mean, completely misinformation. Like, girl, I see what she was trying to do, but we cannot do that. I'm sorry. Kay wasn't trying to fight. She was up to her usual antics. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Kelly did shut up the whole time and got on my nerves. I'm trying to tell you, it was like, ugh. Want some K Michelle moonshine to mix with some lemonade and blueberry. Oh, not her moonshine. Kelly putting out merchandise and selling the cookbook. Why Angela came back with the clapback Kelly saying cookbook with no kitchen or something like that. It was funny. It was, yeah. Angela was getting her. She really was. But I think she's getting her at that home thing because Kelly prides herself on being so rich and she's the standard, as she say. But you ain't got no house. Okay, standard. Kelly is a joke for coming for people's finances while she's being sued for non-payment left and right. Baby, not only left and right, up and down, side to side, twist and turn, backflips,
Nobody
front
on the
flips.
couch can come for finances except for Phaedra or
And that's
Shamia.
it. Oh, yeah, it's Shamia. I'll give it
And
to
that's
Shamia.
that's really it, because Shamia without Gerald, she's still gonna be okay. She got so many damn jobs. Phaedra, we know, got so many jobs. She's gonna be okay. K Michelle, I would say as well, just because she's been relevant for a while without much issues with finances. But yeah, Phaedra, Shamia, and Kay are the only ones up there who could say anything about anyone's finances, because Portia's finances is still wrapped up in court because she married somebody who was fraudulent. Drew, I'm not gonna get into Drew. She's gone through enough with this divorce. Angela lost money with the damn houses and just wants a win. Pinky done filed for bankruptcy 711 and 3/4 time. And Kelly is broke, but she came in with broke Edie, so we can't blame her.
The streets a lot and disturbed price sound like a fun day in Hotlanta. I know that's right. AB said, listen, Drew is singing and acting and going back to Go Naked Hair and release some stuff with Melody. I saw her in Melody. I thought that was interesting. And losing all those cases at just sad. Just sad. Pinky, pay your bills, ma'am. That part. Kay not even going to court and try to defend herself. Everyone else has a home. I'm just saying. Does Drew have any finances? She does. She just shying them away from court.
I
But
don't think she spent her money right.
no, I don't think she did either. I agree with that
Mhm.
100%. I don't think she does. I don't think she knows what she's doing. But anyways, y'all, we gonna move it along. We gonna put a pin in, Shamia for now. We gonna move on to Cynthia. So we learned that Cynthia has a nice little song now, and I was trying to listen to it. I really was, but I wasn't that moved by it. To me, it reminded me of when The Dream tried to get Kim Kardashian to do a song, and even that shit was terrible. So I'm just like, okay. But apparently they used it for the mid-season trailer. Congratulations, Cynthia. She says she's booked and available. And K Michelle said, I gotta take you on tour with me. K Michelle don't, because people spend their hard-earned money. We don't need to see that. Mrs. Spence, how did you like Cynthia's song?
Um, I mean, it's fun if you're at a Housewives themed event. I actually love EDM. It's fun if I'm at like a Housewives themed event, or if I'm like getting just lit on New Year's or something with my girlfriends. But she didn't do anything on the song but talk. But it wasn't a bad song. May they chart.
Lexi Lee said, I guess I could put on a song too. You sure can, friend. You better go ahead and make it happen. Let it do what it do. She wasn't singing this, so she was just saying comments and or statements rather than put it. He put a beat behind it and remixed it. I feel like this is opportunity. I really do, and this just kind of gave me confirmation of my feeling. I don't bit more believe that that lady is into this man and in this situation, but if she like it, I love it. That's all I'm gonna say. So we didn't get to Pinky. So we have a lot of segment of Pinky, and her being topic of conversation is surrounding her bankruptcy. And we learned exactly what the bankruptcy was and what she has done, even though it changed from the beginning of the season to the end. Because in the beginning, I could have sworn she said she was filing a business bankruptcy. And then later on the season, we learned it was a personal bankruptcy. And in this personal bankruptcy, she put a lot of different things in there because her home was up for question of whether or not she would lose it in the bankruptcy as collateral. She said that she did not put her personal home up. She put in other properties that she had that were already upside down anyway. So I was like, so not only do you have failing businesses, but then you have homes that are upside down. Clearly you weren't doing anything with them. And it was like it just got worse and worse and worse. And she said that I was not embarrassed to file bankruptcy. She goes, I was embarrassed at first, but I had to, put my, good foot in front of the other and get it going and, get myself out. It cost $900,000 to build a slutty vegan. And I have been doing this for many years. So it was just, something that got out of hand. I couldn't trust the people I was working with. And this is what happens. Phaedra pipes up and says that I don't like that you're using bankruptcy kind of like a cheerful tool to, say that, like it's a joke or something like that. I didn't like that. Phaedra lets it be known that Pinky had many investors that, awarded her up to $25 million to invest in her business. And now that is all gone. Like the people are not going to get a return on their investments. So she's felt like Pinky was being very braggadocious about how much money she had, how much she can do, what she could wipe her ass with, buying foreclosed homes, trying to spite other people. She felt like that was a big slap in the face to the African Americans, especially that, invested in her and her dream. And she said, well, I had white ones too. Wasn't just black ones. Thank you very much. I had white ones now next. And I said, oh, Pinky, please do not go down this road. Please do not go down this road. And everyone was trying to reason with Pinky. Portia tried. She said, Pinky, I understand. You're completely correct. But it was just the way that you went about it on the show. It did not seem like you were remorseful or anything of getting to this place. It just seemed like you were just like, oh, it's bankruptcy. So Pinky said, listen, when a white person files for bankruptcy, they get a high five and then they go start another business. Why is it when the black people do it, oh, it should be shameful. It should be an embarrassment. And I'm just like, oh, she don't get it. So Cynthia tried. Cynthia was like, okay, listen, Pinky, I also owned restaurants with my ex, and I understand how hard that business be. And, being on the Housewives, you're going to face scrutiny. She goes, I don't care about the scrutiny, Cynthia. I don't care. And she goes, okay, but you get to understand, you have a responsibility. She goes, listen, and I don't care what people think about me either. So it is what it is. She wouldn't let Cynthia finish, wouldn't take the advice, wouldn't take anything.
I love when someone angrily says that they don't care about what people think about them. If you have to say it with so much, if you got to say that with your chest, you care more than anyone else, likely, which explains all of the skits and the embarrassment and the hoopla surrounding this bankruptcy. When most people would have accepted that she filed bankrupt, hoped to see her stay on the show and do good to get her stuff back together and be okay. We've had lots of housewives go broke and have bankruptcies and owe the government. Look at Karen Huger, drunk and all. She paid off her taxes for her rent raise. So, and nobody gets at her about that because she confronted it, she paid it, and left it there. But when Pinky is doing skits from the big comfy couch for us 90s kids about her bankruptcy, while then coming on this show after all of that has happened, just to show us that she doesn't even fully understand bankruptcy. And then you talking to a woman who has had wealth, regardless of how many cases she wins or loses. She knows how to win when it comes to avoiding bankruptcies. And she's also an attorney with the Juris Doctorate. So she could probably offer you some legitimate advice that would be good for you with your bankruptcy. But Pinky said out her own mouth that she chose to ignore a lot of people's professional advice to avoid wrapping other people up in it. And now you're showing up to the reunion pregnant. A woman who was crying about being broke, did business the entire wrong way, but is still finding ways to fund a movie, which seems like something irrelevant, is now showing up to the reunion pregnant, adding another expense, trying to argue anybody down about finances is fucking comical. And I like Pinky, but she should have stood down. That's just my opinion.
I like Pinky as well, but this was not a good look for her. It just wasn't. But thank you for explaining that because that is absolutely correct. So Andy said, well, your husband offered you the money to pay off the debt. Why didn't you accept it? She said that she couldn't accept it because there were prior things outside of the slutty vegan that was, creditors were coming after her. So she didn't want to really involve him because that would have opened up a bigger can of worms and maybe more money to be expended out. So she decided to do the bankruptcy to protect him and also herself from those other people. I'm like, well, then how many people did you owe? Y'all, I'm telling y'all, every time Pinky explains this, I feel like it gets deeper and deeper, and then more shit comes out of nowhere. Because it was like, okay, we thought that the whole reason why you were filing this personal now bankruptcy was because you know your businesses got out of hand and the people running get ran into the ground. We thought that that's what it was. Now we're learning that there was even more shit on top of that you were trying to get thrown in. I'm just like, Pinky, nothing is making sense about this. They then asked her about, the whole project that she's working with Notori Naughton, and she said that she got picked up by a major network. She didn't reveal which one it was because the ink is not dry yet on the contract. Congratulations to her. I would really love to know what the big network is. My guess is Prime, but I'm going to reserve, the right until it comes out. But congratulations are in order for Pinky. K. Michelle did a really good job of trying to diffuse, the whole argument about her bankruptcy. I did appreciate K. Michelle standing up for Pinky in the moment, but I feel like at the same time, Pinky means exactly what she says. So I kind of feel like that was a moot point to do K. Michelle, but I understood. You were standing up for your friend. Totally get it. But I just feel like Pinky is just very irresponsible. I also heard that she said that she only makes $6,000 a month, and that she pays $80 a month for gas. That's written in her bankruptcy. I also heard that as well. I found that also comical as well because Pinky's rent for the slave vegan was $9,000. She said she could wipe her ass with that. So I really want to understand how you only saying you make quote unquote 6,000 a month, but you said $9,000 was nothing that you could wipe your ass with. I want to know how that's even possible, Pinky. So either you putting on for TV and you really ain't got it like you say you do, or you bullshitting lying. Which one is it? Because a lot of shit that you were saying, if you watch the season back, it falls into hopes. So I just need to know. And Pinky, if you come back next season, which I feel like you are, I need you to be a little bit more honest. You don't necessarily have to be huge in transparency, but I think you need to be a little bit more honest because your stories all have holes in them. And it's hard as people who recap the show, view the show, and actually do like you to stand in your corner when things like this happen. So I'm just saying, I would love for you to be a little bit more honest if you come back next season, which I'm sure you will. Anything you want to add on Pinky, Mrs. Best, before I move on?
No, just stop perpetrating. That's all.
I 100% agree with that. Let me read the comments before we move on. So, okay, AB loves the song Cynthia did. We love it. Now, Shani had texted me this, and I'm going to try to read this without laughing. Pinky, aka a young Gary Coleman, Someone said that on a live last night that Pinky reminds him of a young Gary Cole, and I fell out laughing. Let me tell y'all, I laughed at this for a great 5 minutes. Like I did. Hold on, y'all. But
I
yes,
love Shanny.
that
I
was
absolutely
hilarious.
love Shanny. Not Gary Coleman. I can't
Gary
see
Coleman,
it.
right? Once
Especially
you
how
get it in
she's
your head,
smiling so big.
yes. I, I'm telling y'all, I laugh because I can't unsee it either. I'm not gonna call her that, but I'm that was funny. I'm sorry. I was hollering. Pinky is to blame. She should have watched her money and people closer. So don't blame anyone else. I don't even think it's so much that she needed to watch her money. Y'all, restaurant businesses are hard to have just in general. And she had 14 locations. And it's not like she had a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Taco Bell, where pretty much those franchises pay for themselves. And there's a lot of capital gain with those businesses. She opened up something that a lot of people, a lot of the American population, you know, would not normally consume. Like a lot of, like there's a big population of vegan, but it's not as big as society is. So I think that it was just a hard business to do. But what my problem with Pinky is if when you learn that people are giving you $25 million and pretty much this is how it ended up, it's like, damn, like $25 million to invest in your dream. It's crazy, y'all. I'm flabbergasted because I did not know that until Phaedra put it out there. I did not know that people like investors invested that much money into her. $25 million is a lot of money to invest in something and to have it fail because she hasn't been doing this that long. I think it's maybe it's not it hasn't even been a full decade. So yeah, crazy, 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 crazy. Her husband couldn't cover that dental bill for the kids that she filed on. I mean, mm, what can we say? Good luck getting future investors, Pinky. That's the way to say everything. Oh yeah, if people watch Real Housewives of Atlanta the way they see her, they're not going to invest in her anymore. Like, and that's going to be sad because I do think that she's brilliant. But the fact that she has no care and no remorse for losing investors' money like that's insane to me. Bring up major companies and huge change that were not even a comparison, especially when one of them has closed down for good. And then the other one had a revamp and had another investor come in and save. Like, she had no point. She really didn't. Pinky has rubbed everyone the wrong way. Yeah, because well, here's the thing. She didn't rub everybody the wrong way. They were trying to help her not sabotage herself even further. But she didn't want to hear that. She didn't want to hear, the genuine concern and then the genuine, responses of them coming at her from a good place. She wanted to hear that they were against her. She wanted to hear that, she failed. And that's what she heard everyone saying. She didn't hear, listen, we're just coming to you, trying to help you, she didn't hear that. And that's sad. That really is, because she's in her own way at this point. Angela told her during that back and forth that they were having, I can throw a rock and hit 10 people that you owe. Yeah, absolutely. I see why Pinky's so angry. She's deep in financial due. But I get that too. But that does not mean that you should bite the heads of people that are only trying to help your words so you don't look crazy on this television network. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to put yourself so deep in something that you're not going to be able to get out of it without this show. So they're trying to help her really, but she's digging her own grave. I'm telling you, she's gonna need the show pretty soon. If Pinky lasts 2 to 3 more seasons, she's gonna need the show. Or if she can, do the charade where she can let $50,000 spread over 6 years. You know, there's that. But I see her getting into a lot of financial trouble later on as well. Let's hope she still got that contract after that statement she just said about the bankruptcy. What contract? They need different hosts because there are different standards for people on the show. I agree. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Also, Drew's a SAG actress, but she can read for her movies prior notes. That shit was funny as hell. Pinky, I think she is. I do. I really think she is. I don't believe her husband had 5 million rescue. I don't either. Now I really do believe, because to me, unless Pinky had more debt in other places, like she said, and I think that's the real issue. I think he could liquidate and get that money for her, but I think that there was more. If he had did that, that would have came after her, like she said. I do believe that that shit is true. I don't believe her. Yeah, I don't. As I said, I think he can get it. I think it would take him some time, but I think he could get it. But I don't think it would be worth it. Hi, Keywan. You guys make sure you're subscribed to Keywan J as well. She also covers the show a lot, a slew of others. We appreciate you being here. They were stealing her money. The guys in charge. She should have had them watch. I hate I have to say this, but I'm starting not to believe that story. Is that bad, Mrs. Best? Is that bad?
Hmm?
Like, I'm starting not to believe that story,
What story?
that the people were stealing money from her. I'm starting not to believe that. I don't know why. That's horrible. I shouldn't say that.
To anybody who blames their current situation, especially as a business owner, on the people you hired, lacks accountability or is lying. You're responsible for who you hire. So there's that, Pinky, but okay.
She said, "Y'all don't forget I dropped the episode." Eh, Oh, okay. Well, she do a whole lot of other shows, y'all.
Oh, she dropped this show.
Yeah, I didn't know she did that.
I didn't
I,
know either. I knew she dropped other Housewives, but I thought she was going to finish out Atlanta.
yeah. Um, I I'm not trying, and that's the thing. I'm not trying to say it, but it does not, y'all. Pinky does not make any sense. Like, nothing about this makes sense at all. And I'm trying, because I do like her, I really do, but it just seems like there's something more to this that she's not saying, and I feel like her defensive gestures towards the other people were to try to get them distracted so they would not dive deeper into it. I don't know if I believe her. I tried of them talking about married men because I don't think they have been married with a married man. Oh, okay, I got you. They probably been with married men whether they know it or not. Yeah, yeah, I could see it. But what else happened? I'm gonna get off Pinky. I know there was a little situation with her and Phaedra, but that also, like Pinky's storyline with this bankruptcy, did not make sense because they couldn't say exactly what it was. They couldn't go any further into it. So it was kind of like, what's the point? What's the point? So I'm gonna move on to the last thing we're gonna talk about, because I said a lot of stuff we could have just kept. But the last thing we're gonna talk about is, this whole segue with Kelly, and how this whole rumor came about Portia putting out there that Kelly also sleeps with married men. And Kelly was like, "I want y'all to name the person." And everyone's like, "We're not going to name the person." Portia had this polygraph test that she paid for to say that what she read was the truth. Not so much her producing a receipt, but what she read. Now I'm looking at Portia like, "Portia, this is not a receipt. Hiring somebody to do a polygraph test is not a receipt. The receipt was, hey, friend, forward me those text messages. I'm going to blurt out his name so it's not shown on public television. But forward me those text messages so I can put this out on blast that this lady has slept with him." Because I said, Kelly's story was kind of all over the place. When Portia said that, yeah, when you got off the plane, your drawers fell off. And Kelly did admit to that. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, Kelly, that's weird as hell. Why would your drawers fall off? I don't know. I'm just weird. Just weird. So um when it comes to that story, she was like, "I want a name and everything." And so Andy makes a correlation with Angela and Shamia about George and this whole situation with George and the cease and desist that was served to Angela by Shamia to not mention it. And then the cease and desist with George, she said that I said specifically, either you name the football and basketball players that I have allegedly slept with, you either bring the person that told me it, or you stay quiet. You have to do one of those things. That is what my cease and desist says, because I want names. And Angela said, "Listen, I trust the source who brought it to me. That is it. That is all. I'm not going to speak on it any further." So we go ahead and did this whole situation. And Portia says, "I think it's crazy that, Kelly doesn't want to name anything, and that overall, she said I was lying about the whole situation when she knows she did what she did. So Andy asked Phaedra, well, Phaedra, this is your client, right? And Phaedra made it very clear, I'm a member of the bar. I did not bring this on camera. But Kelly said, but yes, but I'm also your client, Phaedra. And you didn't come to me and say, well, Kelly, is this true? Do you know who I'm talking about? Did you know the man's name or anything like that? Phaedra said, I didn't have to talk to you. I talked to him and he told me what happened. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you this. Do you believe that Kelly did this?
I believe what Hot Pink's comment says. I'm tired of everybody on this show talking about who slept with married men. They probably all done it. As quiet as it's kept, Atlanta sounds like an awful place to date on TV and off TV. So I'm sure they've all had their history, whether they were aware of it or not. Okay? Because who's to say that some of the men they think were single that they may have slept with were not married? What I don't understand is why a bunch of women are gatekeeping each other's pussies. I'm sorry. I know that that was not the nicest way to speak, but I think it's a little bit weird to be keeping score of what another bitch is doing and whose dick she's sitting on for whichever day of the week. I think that's weird. Not everybody on the cast is guilty of it, but Portia, obviously there's some truth to the stuff that's said about you, and you tired of being called a Jezebel and the hoe of Atlanta, because to go and pay for a lie detector test that no one's going to believe because you chose to pay for it. No, that's not how it works. I will never understand why people on reality TV think that if they pay for a lie detector test that they are proving anything. Let me pay for your lie detector test, ho. Do that. And then make it a special and film it, since you give nothing anyway other than crying about Dennis. So I'm just, I don't understand why these women move the way that they move. I don't. But I don't think Kelly would intentionally sleep with a married man. Even though I don't like the little hobbit, I don't think she would intentionally sleep with a married man. But we know there's one on the cast who has and will. So I find it weird that that's the person who thinks that a lie detector test means anything. I also find it weird that Miss Portia, the bad bitch, who people would hope to reach, random people are just able to text your phone talking about they slept with Kelly. Okay, Portia.
I mean, as I said, I listen. The big flex would have been, friend, forward me those text messages so I can have them for receipt.
Print out a real receipt.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I didn't
or
care
talk
about
your house and how you're going to pay Simon that chunk of change so that it can be put in your name. Because she does a lot of other type of bullshit, pulls stunts like this to not talk about her actual life. And we liked Portia in the beginning of RHOA when she came because she used to share her life. We watched her rebuild after Cordell, but now I do think the fame has gotten to her a little bit because she don't share shit about herself, but wants to go and pay for these bullshit ass stunts that no one's going to believe.
Yes. So Kelly brought up that, there was a chef that was messing with Kelly and Portia, I guess around the same time. And I guess Claudia Jordan had put that information out there. And I was like, okay, what are we doing now? Like, why is that person? So they blurted out the name because obviously they didn't get, the consent form over to the person enough time for them to share his name. And so Portia was like, oh, so you gonna go ahead and name them? Okay, so name the pastor then, since you gonna go ahead and name them. And Kelly was skating around it. Portia said, no, go ahead and name the pastor. Andy, this is getting good. You see? And Shamia was like, I don't think we should do that because, it is incriminating as well to go ahead and just, put out honest people. And Portia said, Shamia, we not talking to you. When I'm talking to Kelly, I don't need to hear you. Otherwise, I'm going to expose who you were with at BET weekend as well. And I said, oh. Now, I don't know if I believe Portia on that one, but I said, nah, Shamia got one too. Now, what the hell going on, Portia? Are you just saying shit now?
Portia just saying stuff because I believe Shamia was with Gerald that weekend.
I believe she was too. That's why I'm just like,
because I covered the BET Awards. We reviewed it on our channel. There were a couple of housewives there.
Yeah.
Portia, just be quiet. She just be saying stuff. That's why I don't like her on the show, because we don't even believe and trust what she says, because we know it's either a lie or it lacks fact.
I mean, it's just crazy. But they leave off on the cliffhanger of, Portia wanting her to name the man. And Kelly was like, listen, I've had people in my DMs, Pastor Jamal Bryant, who did my 10-year vow renewal. He was named. There was other pastors had reached out to me saying, hey, like, leave me out of this. Don't be having people. Because I guess people were trying to figure out who it was. And they were just putting random pastors up that were in the spotlight and famous and that could have well been attached to her. And she was just saying, I want to go to church on Sunday. I'm not trying to have all of this. Y'all are doing too much, which once again, this is why when you go on reality TV, people are way too invested in your lives, and that's what happens. So we gonna see what happens with this. I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. I don't think anybody's gonna get named. I don't think Phaedra's gonna put the man's name out there because she would be a fool because he can sue her. I don't think this is ever gonna grow legs and walk anywhere. So this was even stupid to bring up. But once again, we will see, but I don't think this is ever going to go anywhere. I'm going to read the comments. I can see all of them being with the married man. Yes. I mean, once again, we now have to define what a married man means now. We now have to define that. The correct title is someone who has legal binding paperwork with one person and is committed to them until they are properly divorced. The divorce decree is signed and then filed at the county clerk's office. That is what marriage means to me. But now people date separated people who have not gone through the legal divorce paper. That's still a married man. Now people are with people who have spouses in different countries now. That's still a married man. So I feel like we need to put all that out there. Just because somebody is separated does not mean they're not married. I want y'all to know that because a lot of y'all think that because someone is not with somebody or living in the house with them that they're not married. That's a lie. I just want to put that out there. Mrs. Best, do you agree with that? Uh-oh, we lost Mrs. Best, y'all. I think she's still on the clock. Sorry. A lie detector stunt would have landed harder with Maury reading the results, but these ATL wives don't think that far. It says she hired Drew to play the role. She didn't even hire Drew. Portia didn't think that through. Because as I said, the real flex would have been give me the text messages and let Andy read them like Shamia about to do next episode. I can't wait to see what's in the text messages. I'm so excited for that because I want to see if Portia really was lying that whole time. Kelly, you are a client of Phaedra's or are you just a favor? Tell her Shanny because technically she still was her client by proceedings wise because they did go to court, but it was a pro bono. Just saying. Kelly's stupid for going after a person helping you for free. She didn't really go after Phaedra in today's time. She really hasn't been saying, even though Phaedra went in on her with a little shade post, Kelly really hasn't been doing anything to Phaedra that I saw that was really all that bad. She said that Phaedra was there when she needed her. So, Kelly, the pro bono client. Yeah. She is yeah, so funny. I bet not fail a lie detector test that I paid for. Not you better not fail one that you paid for. She like, look, buddy talk, bullshit walks. I know that's right, Lexi Lead. I know that's right. Wouldn't the lie detector test gag come off better if Kelly actually took the test and it came out she was lying? It would have been, or Portia could have just revealed the person and the text messages. Just saying. Kelly seems to pull a Dr. Heavenly this season. What does that mean, Keywan? I don't know what that means. Exactly, Lexi. Portia is dumb. It just wasn't the best thing to do, especially when you have a history of lying. Like, it just wasn't. I thought this was so tasteless and sad. And you could beat a lie detector test if you're calm as down, can't you? During that clip, Portia looked extremely calm, like she was breathing through each answer. The problem with the question, okay, let me explain something to y'all. The problem with lie detector tests and why they become inadmissible is because 9 out of 10, the person who is taking the test probably knows the questions beforehand. Lie detectors nowadays, because anybody can buy them now, they used to be something that only courts can appoint, and you were not knowing of any questions. I've taken 2 in my life because I have been in criminal justice and also have tried to get a job in police departments. I've taken 2. I did not know any questions that they were going to ask me beforehand, which is why they got a real response out of me in real time. And that's when it works best, when you don't know the questions that they're going to be asking you. So one of the questions they asked me, I remember like it was yesterday, because I actually got this one. I actually failed this one. They asked me, have I ever harbored a fugitive? That question caught me so off guard that I said no. And the lie detector said it was a lie. And I said, I ain't never harbored no fugitive. That hell y'all talking about. So I'm thinking, like, I'm like, damn, did I have a cousin in the car that had a record? Like, I'm literally freaking out. So when I say they are great, it's only great if you don't know the questions beforehand. If you know the questions beforehand, that means you had time to rehearse and calm your subconscious down to get the answer directly. So, I don't think I think Portia knew the questions and she stuck with the same answer because in her mind that is the truth. Just saying. Having a lie detector test is prime household. It really is. It's so sad. Kelly ran her mouth the whole season, pick fights, and not been able to show much. If Kelly ain't gonna do nothing else, she gonna run that mouth. Yeah. But that was it, y'all. So we leave off with Shamia having receipts about Portia and exposing the fact that Portia did not want her on the show. I can't wait till that is. We also leave off with a cliffhanger of not knowing who the Mary Pastor is, or even if there is one. And I can't wait to see what happens. I'm excited to close this chapter of Real Housewives of Atlanta. This has been a crazy season so far, some good, some bad. But I'm excited to see and in this chapter. Mrs. Best, any last words before we end the live?
My bad, I was working. Just like the video. I love y'all. Happy Monday.
Butch Andy said, "Oh, snap, James, you got the good spot to hide out at. I didn't do it. Don't tell nobody. I'm hiding under your bed." Shanny, but I tell you, they threw me for a loop with that question. I said, wait a minute, what? Like, child. Well, I tell you, top 10 scariest moments of my life, because I feel like had I said yes and I was going to incriminate myself and go to jail. Like, I really did. Like, me confessing to a crime. Like, oh, it was so scary. But yes, you're welcome, Lexi Ling. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to my replay gang. You don't go unseen or unheard. I love y'all as well. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like the video. I love all of you guys who are in my live chat as well. Thank y'all for being here. I had such a great time with everybody. Mrs. Best is always a pleasure. Thank you for being here as well. My next live, of course, will be on Thursday. We'll have Next Gen NYC, and I'm going to try to sneak in a video where we are going to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. I will be doing a show solo, of course, and we're going to talk about Ariane making her way to the show. And I know y'all cannot wait to hear my opinion. Some of y'all have asked for it, and I'm definitely going to give it to you. So we thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys later. Have a good night, y'all. Bye-bye.